What is going on, everyone? Welcome to Barking for Balance, the podcast where we talk about dogs, but we also talk about whatever it is that we want to talk about. Obviously, the main topics are always meant to teach, inspire, and entertain. I am Pat the Packman. I'm a dog behavior and rehabilitation specialist for Packman to the Rescue, Canine Solutions and Coaching. And guess what? It's about training people, not training dogs. Salutiamo a tutti, buon Natale, buon Capodanno, Maronna che feste. This is an emotional, very special podcast episode. This will be the last of the year. And if you're joining us for the first time, welcome to Barking for Balance, guys. And if you've been a loyal supporter, thank you so much, guys. You are the best. You're the bomb. Siete meglio tutti. On this platform, as you can tell, I speak Sicilian in it. We talk about dogs. We talk about all sorts of cool stuff. I talk about my life, inspiration. It's all meant to make us better people, happier people. And therefore, our dogs are going to respond to that because, like I said, it's about training people, not training dogs. Teaching the tricks, all that crap, it is not useful. What we need is a calm human, a relaxed human, calm mind, relaxed body. Quanto volta ve la dire? I say this a million times. That's how it works. And on this platform, on this podcast, that's exactly what you're going to learn. You're going to learn about dogs, how to speak dog language, dog psychology, dog techniques, all sorts of cool dog stuff. But above it all, you're going to learn how to be a good dog owner, a knowledgeable dog owner, a knowledgeable dog lover, so that your dogs are not well trained. You're well trained. Your dogs, on the other hand, they're going to be happy, fulfilled, and well behaved. And if you have not subscribed to this podcast, ma caspiete, what are you waiting for? Subscribe, guys. We are on Apple, Amazon, Google, and Spotify. We're also on YouTube. Make sure you subscribe to that YouTube channel, Packman to the Rescue. Make sure you follow us on social media, Facebook, Instagram. Again, Packman to the Rescue. It is Packman. Wait, did I spell that right? Oh my God. Avecchiaia Nagarogna. Packman to the Rescue. Check it out. You want to make sure that you follow us on those platforms. You want to make sure you follow our YouTube channel. You want to make sure that you subscribe to this podcast, Barking for Balance. This has been a phenomenal year, guys. A lot of stuff kicked off, including this podcast. This podcast began on January 1st of the 2021. This is, like I said before, an emotional one because this will be the last one for this year. This will be the closing out episode of the Barking for Balance podcast, and we will pick this back up. Don't you worry. We ain't going nowhere. We are not going anywhere. 2022, we will kick this off again. And guys, this is a special one because this is where I really want to thank and talk about, how special you guys are. Again, make sure you subscribe. There's so many positive things coming out of this podcast. And, one of the greatest things that happened this year that I'm so pleased and proud of and honored is the fact that my autobiography, God Spelled Backwards, was finally published. I've been working on that since 2016, and it is finally done. God Spelled Backwards, my autobiography. It is done. It is available. You need to read it. Speaking of which, you haven't read book. You didn't know I wrote a book. You didn't know I wrote an autobiography. Luna. Come on. Got to buy that book, guys. You want to make sure you get that book. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Nobles and all that good stuff. Sure, you read that book. It's going to be a bomb. You're going to be loving it. I'm telling you, it's entertaining. It's fun. It's inspiring. It is my life. And so there's a lot of cool stuff in there. There's stuff that very few people know. There's stuff that nobody knows, but it's a joy and an honor. And, I was actually talking to my cousin who called me to talk about the book and some intricate situations that are in there, but before we get into this whole thing, again, make sure you buy that book. I'm going to include all these links down in there. So you don't have to go, you're going to find them right there. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I don't know what that means, but hey, whatever. You're going to when you get the hang of this book, guys, I'm telling you, you're going to love it because there's such it's going to showcase like the journey that I've been through to get to this point, to become the Packman. That's really the purpose of the book, is to really show through trials and tribulations and all the crap and all the stuff that's been happening to get to becoming this, to working with dogs and teaching people and teaching people about dogs. And this is just, it's just been a journey. You're going to be like, reading this book, be like, man, this guy, I want my daughter to date this guy. Hey, how you doing? Hey, that's right. That's how it's going to be. It's going to be that kind of book, guys. So, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. But look, first and foremost, 2021, like I said, it's been a phenomenal year. We are setting up the stage for banging ass 2022. And, again, it's all preparation from 2021. So it's really great. And I really want to thank above and beyond. I really want to thank my supporting clients, clients that, have chosen to work with me, clients that have chosen, more importantly, to listen and follow my direction. That's really the most important thing. I want to thank you guys. I love you guys. You guys have really, really stepped up to the plate, because that's really the foundational piece to really understanding, dogs and making dogs happy and fulfilled and well behaved. And it takes human transformation. Not everybody can change, not everybody can improve, not everybody can adapt, but people do that. Anybody could get a dog, but to make sure that you create that relationship, to make sure that you provide your dog what they want, need, and desire, not what you think that they want, need, and desire, not just fulfilling your own needs, your own selfishness. No, it's taking care of them, and changing your way of thinking, feeling, and acting is key to this. So I want to thank you guys for, like I said, working with me, choosing to work with me, listening, which is the most important part, not just to work with me, but actually listening and absorbing and implementing everything that we talk about. Then, of course, I want to thank the supporters for listening to this podcast. I mean, this is another platform that is meant to do exactly that. Listen, we talk about all sorts of topics. Obviously, I've talked about stuff that has nothing to do with anything, like the Popeye's chicken sandwich and the debate between sauce and gravy, but it's all in good fun. It's fun. It's awesome. This podcast platform is the bomb. You know what I'm saying? And so you learn about dogs, you learn about yourself. We need to be lifted. We need to grow. We need to improve. This is what I'm here to do. And I'm here to support you. I'm here to tell you, I'm here to show you that there is help. There is hope. There is options. Unfortunately in this field, there's many dog professionals that don't have a clue about anything except how to trick or treat, do the trick or treating crap. And, at the end of the day, the biggest problem with this situation is simple. They're not helping anybody. And unfortunately, the people are the ones that understand that that's the case. And worst case of it is the fact that the dogs pay the price. They're the ones that end up suffering. They're the ones that end up, getting screwed out of this deal. So it's not fun and it's not cool. But let me tell you something. If you've had that situation, then listen, you got to call the Packman. Call the Packman. Call Packman to the rescue. We're going to come in. That's what the name is for. It's coming here to rescue, to give you the understanding that you don't have to put that dog down. You don't got to return that dog. You don't have to be living in misery and uncomfortableness and just and anxiety and fear and all that crap. That stuff. No. Bedamacha, you can do this, guys. I'm telling you, you just need the right knowledge and the right support system. That's what we're here to do. You know what I mean? I really, really also want to thank my earlier clients. I'm going to shoot some podcast episodes. I was actually thinking about this just today, that are specifically dedicated to my favorite cases. You guys would like to hear that? Come on, raise your hand. You want to hear some of my favorite cases? I, definitely want to talk about, definitely want to bring in some special guests that were my favorite cases. Believe it or not, most of my favorite cases, if not all my favorite cases, are really not based on the dog. Believe it or not, it's really based on the dog owners. Those are the dog owners that really just get it. They're the ones that get it. Listen, not everybody's going to get it. Not everybody's going to want to get it. Not everybody's going to care to get it. And that's fine. I get it. Anyway, but that's the point, is not everybody's going to be, into it the way that we want them to be. And that's cool. But at the end of the day, the ones that really, really get it are the ones that really become, my family, my favorite, my part of my pack. And we're going to bring them in as guests. You guys want to see that? Who else wants to join in? Come on, write some names in there. Write yourselves in there if you want to join the podcast Barking for Balance as a guest. We could talk about your situation. I'm going to spotlight you guys because some of you guys truly, truly deserve it, and it'll be an honor to do so. But especially, I wanted to talk about my earlier clients. And when I say my earlier clients, I mean like basically how I got started, like how this whole journey began, and in addition to that, I really want to talk about the concept of faith. Faith is something that's so important. I talk about faith and patience all the time, and it's been so crucial and integral in my life and in my journey, and it still is to this day. And it's something that I really feel um, is overlooked and it's not understood. And it's actually one of the main topics of the book, believe it or not. It's the main topics of God spelled backwards is exactly that. It's about faith and patience. It's about God. I believe, my faith and patience is based on God. Listen, I'm not trying to preach and make you think, you have to think whatever you choose, but your faith has to be based on something. Mine is on God. And I talk about that specifically. If you want to join forces with that, listen, you can't go wrong. It's led me, it's done good by me. That's it. That's how it works. So um faith and patience is key. And always learn. I'm going to give you a great example of that in a little while about faith, of how I learn and what it truly means. And maybe this will shed some light into the whole thing. And it's really something that I apply in this business, in this job, in this journey, in this calling. It's not really a job or a business. This is a calling, guys. This is a freaking calling. And the autobiography is definitely based on that. I talk about specifically about God and faith and patience, because that's really how we got here. The faith and patience concept, that's how we got here. You know what I mean? And so I definitely had to showcase that, because God is it. God is everything. You know what I mean? And that's why, like I said, I wanted to make sure that the title especially incorporated God somehow. And we were able to pull it off. So I'm really pleased about that. And by the way, did you buy the book yet? Don't forget, this is the book that you're going to love. I'm telling you, you're going to love this book. Anyway. So yeah, so that's kind of like the situation. So so the earlier clients, why do I want to thank my earlier clients? Is because these are the people that really allowed me to start things off without really any foundation at all. You got to remember, for those that are joining for the first time, for those that don't know the full story, and again, that's why you got to read God spelled backwards, so you'll know the full story, and way before that as well. um I was afraid of dogs till I was 28 years old. I was a financial advisor for 16 years, and I basically made a career change at the age of 40 with nothing to stand on. I went from financial services to working with dogs at the age of 40 with no reputation, no foundation, no clientele, no following, no social media, nothing. It was just from day one, we kicked it off, and that's how it got started. So I'm not going to bore you with the specifics on how this all took place. But the bottom line is that that's why you got to read God spelled backwards. That's why we have to, that's why I really feel that I want to thank these people. This whole journey started basically as a hobby. I was doing this for fun. I was doing this for no money whatsoever. It was just a hobby. I'd go to people's houses and work with them at the shelter. And then it evolved to, where I was going to people's houses more than anything else. And then this one would refer me to that one, and that one would refer me to this one. And it was just this snowball effect. But again, it was all for free. But when it became a business, it was different, because, you got to think about it. People are looking for, like, yeah, sure, recommendations, of course, but on paper, I really wasn't anything. I really was nothing. I didn't have a Google page or a Yelp page or Facebook. I had to start all this from scratch, including a website. Yeah, I had some experience with it, exposure, but when people would ask me, like, well, how long you been in the business? And, I wasn't gonna lie when I say, yeah, 30 years. No, I mean, just listen, I just started this whole thing, I'm new to the dog world. But the people that actually gave me a shot and saw the value, because that's how it started. It was really just a, word of mouth type situation. It was just, this one would talk great about me, and then, oh, really? I want to talk to him. Okay. And then this one would talk great about me. And then it would just, again, it would snowball from there. And then, I decided from a marketing perspective to apply a technique that I used to use in financial services, which was I would use my own clients as accountants and CPAs, and I would network through those accountants and CPAs. But it was easier because I had I had a lead. It was a warm call when I called those accountants and CPAs, as opposed to just a guy off the street. We had a connection. We had a mutual client, so it was easier for me to get in the door, and that became my number one marketing source, and my marketing tool in financial services was just networking with accountants and CPAs. And then referrals, obviously. And in this business, I started basically the same thing. It was referrals. And the other thing I did was networking with veterinarians and, mostly, dog professionals, groomers, but it was mostly veterinarians. And, it was the same thing. I would ask the clients, who's your vet, you know, introduce myself and snowball from there. You know what I mean? So it was that kind of evolution. But again, to give me a shot when I had no background and no, when people would ask me again, I wasn't going to lie. Well, how long have you been doing this? And I was honest about my story. I feel that my story is really the thing that makes me special. It makes this whole thing special is that's something that nobody could take. Nobody could, steal that. That's my story. I was afraid of dogs till I was 28 years old. I'm not embarrassed about it. I did learn everything I know from watching the Dog Whisperer show. It is what it is, but it's worked to make this happen. And it's not just, I'm just copycatting something from a TV show. It's information and knowledge that is appropriate and it works. My approach is different. The way I convey it, the way I explain it, the way I do it is different than Cesar Millan's, but the concepts are basically his. I didn't reinvent the wheel. I didn't read it from a book. You know what I mean? That's we're going to get into, I'm definitely going to shoot a podcast episode about dog trainers and dog training. It's just going to create a lot of drama, which, quite frankly, man, a lot of fun, cool. I'm looking forward to that. I think that it's necessary at this point because it's needed. There's just too much of that. But anyway, so that's kind of like that's kind of like what I was saying about how I got started with nothing. And these people actually gave me a shot. And not only did they give me a shot to work with them and their dogs, but they also, were able and willing to share me and my capabilities to their friends and family. And that's kind of how things started to evolve. And, listen, I get it. There's a lot of people, again, this is, and I really hate to say this, but, there's a lot of people in my position, not just from a, from the main thing that what I'm talking about in my position is people that feel that they're stuck, and my position being stuck was in a profession that really I was not happy with and, made me miserable. But at the end of the day, it took me a while to find what I'm meant for. And I feel that there's a lot of people that are in the same position. They just don't have, or they don't feel that there's a way out. There is a way out. It's just the faith and the patience is really the key to the way out. Listen, 16 years of financial services. It's all I knew. My degree was in finance. My internships before my first job were in the financial services world. That's all I knew. 16 years, the age of 40. Listen, guys, change is hard. Change was really hard. And that's the reason why when I decided I wanted to write this book, it was meant to tell people, to showcase people that you have options, whether it's you think you're stuck in a relationship or you're stuck in a mental state that's screwed up, or, a job or whatever. You're not stuck. Faith and patience is how I got out of a lot of situations, and including how I got out of a career that made me happy. But again, God spelled backwards is really the manual that's going to showcase this, So that's why I wrote that book, is because it really showcases how our own mind really screws with us and keeps us down. It keeps, your background, your upbringing, like all these things that kind of made me feel like I would never come out of it. I would never be able to do anything. Who's going to hire me? These were legitimate thoughts that were going on in my mind. No, who's going to hire me? Nobody's going to hire me. I have no experience. I have no background. I have nothing. I have no degrees. I have no, people, that become this, they read it from a book, and all of a sudden that crap is just, listen, I read from a book. I got certified in that crap, it was useless. I didn't learn jack shit. Okay. I was working with a dog trainer, and her techniques were crap. It was just ridiculously stupid, silly crap that at the end of the day did absolutely nothing for what these people's problems actually were, but let me not go down that road as a non male parole, because otherwise, the aggravation, it's Christmas time. Buon Natale, Felice Anno Novo. It's almost Christmas time, guys. This is Christmas week. Merry Christmas. I'm going to say this at the end, obviously, but Merry Christmas, guys, and Happy New Year. 2021 may have been tough for some people. 2020 may have been tough for some people, but remember, there's always hope, no matter what the situation. Faith and patience. Listen to this podcast. Buy the book, guys. God spelled backwards. Did you get it yet? What are you waiting for? Go get it. I really need you guys to read this book. This is gonna blow your mind. It's going to show you so much stuff. It's going to inspire you to the point where you're going to be like, you know what? This guy, not only is he incredibly good looking, but he is just, wow, this guy's awesome. Wink, wink. Come on. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, but I know I'm plugging this book a lot, but I really want you guys to get the message as to why this book was written. This is my entire life. And for those that know me, know that I'm a very private person. I don't share shit with anybody. I keep everything bottled up. So for me to put this out there into the entire world was tough, and especially certain things that are in this book. But at the end of the day, like I said, I did it for a reason. I did it because I wanted to help. And if this helps one person, mission accomplished. But there's a lot more people that this book can help. So God spelled backwards. By the way, guys, make sure you get the one from the Packman. There's a lot of, wannabes with the God spelled backwards. Packman's God spelled backward. That's the one you want. Pat Petita. That's the one you want. Anyway, but, so getting back to to getting started, it was complicated because it also made my life considerably, difficult. Change is hard. Let's face it, making changes is hard. And when I tell people and coach people and support people and having to make those adjustments, those mental adjustments, those emotional adjustments, those physical adjustments, it's hard. And I'm not going to, complain or beat them up because they're struggling. No, what I always say, guys, and if you've been following this podcast, if you're my clients, what I always tell you, focus on progress, not perfection, because that's really what's going to keep you on track. Just a little bit is good. A little bit of progress is always good. We just want to continue to expand and improve on that progress, But, change is difficult for anybody. So when you're working with your dog and trying to make your dog do certain things, you got to remember that change in that particular behavior or state of mind is going to take some time. It's going to be tough to change that dog's behavior, that dog's state of mind. But also, you got to remember that you're the reason why that dog is going to be changing their behavior, changing their state of mind. And it's going to be tough for you to change that. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some patience. It's going to take some faith. See how this whole thing goes in a circle? No matter how you spin this around, we always end up in the same spot. That's the whole point. That's why we want to teach, inspire, and entertain humans, because that's where it boils down to. That's the foundation. We don't train dogs, guys. Remember, we train people, not dogs. That's what it's about. So again, for me personally, when I made this decision that I wanted to leave the financial services world and become a dog behavior specialist and give this a whole shot, there was one thing that was scary, obviously, this is everybody's going to feel this way when they have to make a job change or career change or whatever the case may be, change wise. Money. Was I concerned about money? You bet your sweet tickling ass I was. Bedamatri. Of course I was. I mean, Jesus Christ, again, I had no foundation. I had nothing to live off of. I had nobody to rely on. When it came to this was a sink or swim situation. You know what I mean? And I had to rely on the one I had to rely on, which was God. I prayed to God. I talked to God. And, at the end of the day, I felt that he had my back and he was going to make it happen. I didn't know how, and I didn't know when, but I knew he was going to make it happen. And I was not going to sink. I was not going to go back to that world of financial services. Remember, I kicked this off. I quit financial services September 16th, 2014. Yeah, September 16, 2014 is when I quit officially. So starting January 1st, 2015, this is it. This was it. There was no, salvagente. There was no, life support. It was on my own. This was it. This was how I was going to. So yeah, I was concerned about money and financial. So yeah, I have expenses and I was going to do it. Listen, I didn't have to know how I was going to do it. I just trusted God. Faith and patience is really something that I really preach about, guys. And I really do it because I honestly know for a fact that when you get it and you understand it and you internalize it and you live by it, your life will be so, so different. And, there's times when I even stumble with it, believe it or not, even though I gotta have faith and patience is what I should tattoo na front, what I should tattoo on my forehead. There's times when I forget or slip or whatever. That devil is a sneaky little son of a bitch. It's true. I even slip. And so just this week, learned a valuable lesson. And I wanted to share it because I feel that this is very important to help with the new year coming, especially, with the end of this year, taking place. I really want people to feel like they have hope in doing stuff, whatever it is, something is small or huge or massive, whatever it is, you can pull it off. Kick off the new year right, guys. Start the new year right. This, again, tough times, I understand that, but you could still make tough times into a big year for you. You could really take this bad period and make it a massive situation for you. And I'm not talking about financially, financially, sure, fine. But you know what? There's a lot more than just money in this world, guys. There's a lot more you could do. Happiness is really key. Happiness is what you should be focusing on, to be happy, fulfilled, and successful, not just financially, because that's really not the whole picture. It's happy, fulfilled, and successful in all different areas of life: financially, professionally, personally, physically, religiously, emotionally, relationship wise, whatever the case may be. Every single one, happy, fulfilled, and successful. So if you see that you are happy, fulfilled, and successful in some areas, then focus on the ones that you're not. Okay. Because there's always room for improvement. And I guarantee that you're not happy, fulfilled, and successful in every single one of those. If you are, tutta buona benedetta. E tua nanna aveva burrita. All right. So some Sicilian talk, if you want to know what these things mean, let me know. I'll translate them for you. So I'm old school Sicilian, guys. What can I tell you? By the way, do you like my haircut? If you guys watching me on YouTube, that's one of the reasons why you guys subscribe. It's got a haircut. Listen, for those that know, people that know that the most important thing to me is my hair, so I feel always very, very good and happy after I get a haircut. Just got a haircut this morning and I am feeling fresh and good and sexy. Whoo! Remember those daughters that I said earlier? I'm telling you, get them ready. After you read that book, you're going to be dropping them off at my front door. How you doing? Hey, how you doing? All right. So back to, like I said, we have fun on this podcast, guys. It's all about fun. So going back to faith, I know going back to that stuff, the faith. Oh, bedda mantra. But you know what? It all ties in. God knows it's all good. So back to faith. And how did I learn this lesson? Well, it's very simple. I take care of the feral cats outside. And so there's one particular cat, I call him Scooter, that I've become quite close with. And, I take care of him quite a bit better than the others, simply because he's become considerably friendlier. And I just want to preface this for those cat people, that feral cats, believe it or not, can become domesticated. There's people that don't believe in that. And that's actually very, very much, this is not the first one that I've been able to do this. In fact, I have adopted out to a few neighbors and friends and family and other people, the feral cats that I personally have been taking care of, and that eventually become friendly, that they could be adopted into a normal house. This is one of those cases. So this cat would not let me go near him. And then eventually I could pet him while he's eating, and eventually, and before you know it, as soon as I come out, he comes up to me, rubs my leg, that little sexy little dance that cats do, rubs up to my leg. And, socks and pepper obviously are not an issue when it comes to this. And he loves them. He actually annoys the crap out of them too. But, I give him his food. I hang out with him. I give him his treats, his hairball treats. And then every night I just hang out outside with him. I bring a chair outside. He jumps on my lap and I hang out with him. He's purring. A lot of times he falls asleep on my lap and we just hang out. And that's just our routine for the day. And I know what you're thinking. Well, why don't you adopt them? Well, I'm actually considering that. Not even considering it. I will be doing it. I've decided I want to bring him in. I don't want him outside anymore. But I have to factor in some situations because I do have Hannibal, who's my parrot. And so that's going to create a little bit of a dilemma in how I'm going to organize myself to keep them in a position where everybody's safe and secure. So I'm working that out, as we speak, to get that situated, but that's neither here nor there. The most important thing when it comes to everything is simple. What what happened regarding faith. That's really what I want to come across. And Scooter was one of those situations that took place with it. So like I said, normally he has a routine, but it's not always the exact same thing. So I live in a condominium complex, and for whatever reason, they set up, there's woods in the back of the complex. And there was a rickety little fence that's been there since I've been around. It's been there for a long time. For whatever reason, they decided to put up a new fence. That's what we're spending our money on, but that's a whole other story. Anyway, just so that's the fence that really has no use or purpose of any kind, but whatever. I don't want to get into that topic. They put up this fence, and this fence obviously is going to create some issues because they kind of cleaned up the woods in the back. And this is where a lot of the feral cats, including Scooter, would hang out and I guess live when it was cold or snowing or raining or whatever. I'm not exactly sure where he goes during those situations. I do know that he is safe. I do know that he's okay. He always gets his food and water from me, so we have no problems there. But as far as security and safety, no issues. Where he goes, but I have no idea. But I have seen him come from that area plenty of times before. So when this fence went up, I was like, oh no, how's this going to affect Scooter? So that day was when I did not see him for a period of time. Now I'm not shocked by that because it was a lot of noise. So I'm not surprised exactly that I hadn't seen him. But the next day and the day after that, that's when I was seeing him very, very inconsistently, less than normal. So I was really worried. I was like, oh no, what's going on? Did they take away his home? Did they do something? Like, does he not know where to go? Like, I don't know what to do here. So one particular day, the day after this, all of a sudden I had not seen him at all. Not in the morning, not in the afternoon, not in the evening. And I'm like getting very, very concerned. And of course, my brain took over and started getting worried. What happened to him? Where did he go? Did somebody take him? Is he lost? Did he move? Did he get hurt? Did he get killed? Did he get hit by a car? Whatever, like what happened to him? And so not seeing him really concerned me. I was really, really starting to worry about it. And that's the word, is worry. And that's really what faith and patience get rid of, is they get rid of the worry. So I have my little talks with God on a daily basis. And I'm not embarrassed to say this because honestly, this is how I get through my periods of craziness and my periods of concern, is by talking to God. And I literally talk to God like I'm talking to a person, and I talk out loud and I talk as him out loud. And we're having this conversation, and basically, I'm not going to get into the details. Otherwise, you're going to think I'm nuts. No, I'm not getting into the details unless you want to know. We could have that discussion another time. But I started having this conversation with God, and basically the message that I received from him was very simple. It was about faith. Well, how do we address this situation, as this particular example, as faith? And it's very simple. Because I have faith in God, and I have asked God numerous occasions to take care of him, to protect him, to in all the years that I've been dealing with him and all the other cats and all the other cats that have been since adopted, I've always, asked God to take care of them, especially during like the nasty weather and the snow and the cold and the really bad heat and all that kind of stuff. So I know that since I already have asked God to take care of him, he's got him, So once I asked God to do so, much like when I asked God to help me or to do something for me, I don't have to keep repeating it. I don't have to, try to do it myself. I don't have to try to handle it myself, because at the end of the day, I gave it to him and now it's his job. It's out of my hands. Now it's up to him. So going back to this example of the fence and my concern with these people, what are they going to do and how Scooter, blah, blah, blah. The conversation that I had with God was simple. And it was God telling me, who do you trust? Do you trust me? Or do you trust them? I got news for you. It doesn't matter whatever it is that they're going to do. It doesn't matter whatever's going to happen. I'm going to take care of it. If they put up a fence, I'll make a way for him to get through it. If they put up a wall, I'll make a way for him to get through it. If they do whatever, I'm going to make sure that he's going to be taken care of, because you gave this to me. It is not your job anymore. It is not your responsibility. Okay. The other factor to this was where I was concerned about was what will happen, especially since I didn't know. And since I'm trying to take him in, is he friendly with other people too? Does he go? Because obviously he was eating and doing stuff before he came to me. So Does he go to other people that he's friendly with? Does he have other places that take care of him? And is he like hanging out with them sometimes? I don't know. So my concern was, well, what's going to happen? I want to try to bring him into my house. I want to try to take this cat in, but what's going to happen if somebody else takes him, right? And again, this was part of the conversation that I had with God, and God said this simply. He goes, listen to me. You told me this is my job. You gave me responsibility to do what's best for Scooter. So if I feel that there's an environment or a home that is better suited for him than you, then that's where I'm going to get him. That's where I'm going to bring him. That's where I'm going to lead him. Right. And that made sense. I agree with that 100%. The only problem that I had was that I was not going to know. The only problem that I had was that if he went into this better situation and he was good, much better than being with me and being outside, I was never going to know that. I was never going to find that out. And that's when the response came in. And that's what it's about, faith. It's about faith that you trust me. And no matter what ends up happening, you have to know that I have your best interest at heart, and I'm going to do exactly what it is that you asked from me. And that really brought me so much peace, because when I heard that, and again, it was like, it's, I don't see it as me talking to myself. I see it as God talking to me through me. And when I heard that message, it really made me understand even further than I already do understand the concepts of faith and patience, especially in this case, faith, because that whole thing of, I'm not going to know what's happened to him. That's what had me concerned, had me scared, had me worried. But I don't have to, because I got faith. God's going to take care of him, So what's going to happen to Scooter if I don't see him anymore? Doesn't matter. It's in God's hands. Good, bad, or indifferent, he's got it. You know what I mean? So if by me living in a way where I trust God to do everything for me, and once I give it to him, I'm out. I'm not going to try to, to do things on my own, because that's one of the problems that a lot of people do, myself included. We try to handle things on our own. Once we pray to God and God do this and God do that, and then all of a sudden we try to jump back in there and try to handle it ourselves. No. If you apply that, and again, these are lessons that I have had to learn, because that's more like a test. God shows us that, listen, you want me to handle this or you want to handle it? Because if you want to handle it, I'm going to step back. Right. So I don't want to handle it. I want God to handle it. Believe you me, I want him to deal with it. But the problem is that if you step in to try to take care of it, then he's going to step back. So our job is really to step back once we give it to him, and then we're done. You know what I mean? That's it. Faith is simple. It's give it to God and step back. Don't step back in. Don't try to handle it yourself, because every time you do that, all it's going to happen is going to set you back even farther. It's going to make things worse. Okay. Because again, as soon as you step in, okay, fine. You want to do it? Then you spero get the lotto. That's what's going to happen. And this was an example of just that. I gave Scooter to God. In a nutshell, Scooter belongs to God at this point. So what God wants to do that's best for Scooter, he's going to do. It's not my problem to worry about. Yeah, but if I don't see him anymore, what happened to him? Do you want to handle it? No, God, you're right. You handle it. Exactly. If something's going to happen to Scooter, if I find a better situation, that's where I'm going to put him. And you're never going to know about it, but you should trust me enough to know that I'm going to do the right thing. Does that make sense? It's very soothing, and I get emotional when I think about it, because it's very calming when you don't have to worry about stuff. And that's the same thing I tell people when it comes to their dogs is, if you only understood how to communicate dog language, how to understand the psychology of a dog, how to give a dog what they want, need, and require, you take away everything that they have to quote unquote worry about with the tensions and the anxieties and the fears and the aggressions and all that stuff. And all they got to do is just hang back and relax, because guess what? They know you're going to take care of everything for them, whatever it is. You're going to protect them. You're going to provide for them. You're going to give them direction. You don't have to worry about nothing, so they can hang back and relax, much like Socks and Pepper do. You know what I mean? And that's the same thing when it comes to God, is just hang back. Let God run the show, guys. I'm telling you, let God run the show. You guys just hang back and enjoy and reap all that good fruit. Da frutta bella nice, succo insuccata, bella fresca, bella nice. That's what's going to happen. You're going to really benefit from it. And all you have to do is just follow those instructions, But the other side to this equation is you got to be patient, because that's where people also fall short, is they start to complain, they start to take over again because they're not seeing the results in a timely manner or in the fashion that they believe is appropriate or wanting. And all of a sudden they get discouraged and they fall apart. And guess what? Faith and patience, skakano, they end. And guess what? Everything that you wanted is not going to happen anymore, because again, you take it and you try to make it yours. You try to do the stuff that you ask God to do, and then you try to take over again. It doesn't work that way, because you're showing God that you have no faith. That's the bottom line. So that's just my little spiel for the last podcast of the year, guys. I hope it's a very good one. Listen, again, I want to thank you all. I really, really want to thank you all, past, present, and future. You guys are the best. I love you all. Thank you for supporting the podcast. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Make sure you subscribe. All the links are going to be included. Make sure you buy that book, God Spelled Backwards. Guys, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Happy New Year. Buon Natale. Mangiamo e beviamo. Eat like pigs, drink like fish, reverse it. I don't care. Have fun, enjoy life, have faith, have patience. It's about training people, not training dogs. Remember that, guys. Happy holidays to you all. Merry Christmas. Buon Natale. Happy New Year. Felice Anno Nuovo. I will catch you guys in 2022, where we will kick things off even better. And remember, got to have faith and patience. And it's about training people, not training dogs. Love you guys. Mwah. Vi voglio bene. Salutiamo a tutti.